This is the third in a series of videos about direct booking for your short-term rental business. We've talked about the pros and cons, and we've talked about the basic how to set up like a minimum viable product / website that is bookable. But how are you actually getting traffic to go to this website, and how are people finding your short-term rental? In this video, I'll summarize everything I've learned on the topic so that you can decide what you want to do with the direct booking arm of your short-term rental business. A huge shout out to Lodgify for partnering with me on this video. They're hooking everyone here up with a discount code for 10% off when you sign up. I've been using their software to synchronize my calendar, handle my guest messages, and of course, set up the direct booking website. Their database of helpful resources on this topic is mind-blowing. They actually have their own SEO-related course that you can take on their website, so definitely check that out after you're done with this video. Part 1, how are you getting traffic to your direct booking website? There are three main options. The first one is paid ads like on Google and Instagram. This is usually too costly for most people, so I don't recommend it. The second option is some limited advertising to guests who are currently staying at your place or they have stayed with you before, and you can try to entice them to book with you again, but this time directly. You could leave some information about your direct booking website, like physically in the property, or you could have branded merch in your house, like on wine glasses, on a picture. Or I also know some people set it up so that their Wi-Fi login requires people to submit their email address so that they get signed up to an email list. All of the above are kind of gray area based on Airbnb's terms of service, which says you can't require or encourage people to go to a third-party website or app before, during, or after their stay. Personally, having like a sign that says welcome to like insert name of your property and echoing that branding around the house would be the most I'd be comfortable doing. I'm not telling anyone to go to a website, but if they look around and they get curious about the name and they Google it and they find the website, hey, they are free to search around on the internet. The third option for getting traffic, and where we will be spending most of our time on today, is through search engine optimization. This is organic traffic of people who are already interested in visiting an area like yours or interested in general with a beach vacation, for example. Could you get some of those people with this interest in mind to discover your listing? And within those, some of those people might convert into a booking. Part 2, let's talk about search engine optimization, or SEO. When it comes to creating organic traffic, we're talking about creating content on the internet. You may be immediately thinking about social media like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and we will touch on those at the end. But the easiest, lowest hanging fruit is really just writing content blog style on the internet in text. With a software like Lodgify, you can easily set up your own branded direct booking website, and within it, you can add some strategic posts with some good SEO. These increase the likelihood that your direct booking website and the content within it shows up higher in the search results, and therefore you're more likely to get traffic and eventually more likely to get a booking. Let's break it down into three main steps. A is defining your audience. Who are the people that would be interested in booking your property? Try to be as specific as you can. Like, are they families? Are they couples looking for a romantic getaway? Are they big groups of friends? Are they multi-generational families with pets? People who like nature, digital nomads, have all of these target demographics in a list. It's super important to define who you're talking to, and it's okay to have multiple groups, but try for each piece of content to have someone specific in mind. B is keyword research. What do these people that you defined in step A, what do they need? What might their questions be? And what are they likely to look up as they're planning for travel or looking for travel ideas? One option is to use the autocomplete on Google, on YouTube, or even on Instagram. So for example, if I type Savannah, Georgia, then it says Savannah weather, Savannah travel, Savannah things to do. People search Savannah with kids, with toddler, with baby, with dog. You can also try start with best. So best Savannah hotels, ghost tours. I think you can expand on these as well. So for example, Savannah ghost tour, I would assume if it's a big thing, this would be an oversaturated search term. If you can type that into the autocomplete, you can see people are interested in the Savannah Goes Tour for kids, for families, for adults with unlimited drinks. If you're thinking, wow, this is so specific, how is this going to be enough traffic? In the beginning stages, especially when your website is kind of new, it is easier to rank for something that is narrower and more niche like this because there's less competition. And then the other method you can use is use Google Trends for just an idea on the search volume. So Savannah in general, Savannah travel, and I can learn demographics on who is doing this kind of searching. Our third option for keyword research is to use something like vidIQ, which is more specific for YouTube, but YouTube and Google, they're owned by the same people, and it's a free tool, and there's a lot of overlap in how their algorithm works anyway. So here in vidIQ, if you type up a keyword, you get an idea of how often this is searched, aka the search volume, and you also get an idea of what the competition is out there. I also like using this because you can see some example content pieces and get ideas on how people are phrasing like a catchy title that would be something fun but not too clickbaity. For example, Savannah, Georgia, it's apparently not a bad keyword on YouTube. And from this, I can see that Savannah, Georgia vlogs are pretty common. You can even just curate a list, like here are some suggested vlogs for you to check out for ideas. Beyond these options mentioned, there are also paid SEO tools, some of which offer free trials. So I would say gather a list as much as you can with the free options first. And once you have a draft, you can sign up for these free trials to help you narrow it down and get a little bit more data on what you should focus on. I think some of keyword research is also just intuition. After all, you picked this property for some reason. Something here appealed to you and how you like to travel. Could you maybe draw from what would matter to you if you were the one planning the trip? For example, the beach house for us. Planning a walk to the beach with all the kids, and if we had pets, like even just a few blocks, that sounds like a daunting task to pack everything and to like make sure you're prepared. Besides just what to bring, where is the parking? Where is the access point? Is it a free beach once you get there? How rocky is it? Are there chairs for rental? Do I need to bring my own chairs? All these like logistical boring things that parents have to think about. Oh, and if there are umbrella rentals, are there lifeguards? Is the water going to be warm? All of that information would be helpful to someone like me and whoever else might be in the similar boat. That could serve as inspiration to a piece of content on this direct booking website. So after you've defined your audience and found some keywords that you want to work on, then it's time to write some content. The goal here is to write something that can answer these questions well. It's not enough to have just any answer. It needs to be a good answer that leaves the person who came to your website satisfied. This is also known as search intent. Did the content that was served up match with the person or searcher's original intent in asking that question? Google knows this and they track this. Whether the person who clicked on your website, did they immediately back out? How quickly were they to go back to the original search page and try the other options? Doing well here with a good piece of content and a good answer helps promote your rankings on that specific keyword so that the next time someone searches the same thing, Google knows that, yeah, this website last time did pretty well. Let's try serving that up again higher and see if it fits this other person who's asking the same question. Using the concept of search intent, try to think about your audience, what they need, and try to craft something that really matches what would be helpful to them. In my previous beach travel example with the kids, my audience would be parents who are planning a trip with their young children, who are looking for information to be as prepared as possible, because regardless, there's going to be some chaos, but if you at least know a few pieces of information ahead of time, you can try to be prepared and the trip would be more enjoyable. So tailoring to that need, if I could write something that is concise and easy to understand and comprehensive, answering all the logistical questions like the ultimate parent guide for Jacksonville Beach, that would be a pretty good option. Or this could be separated into multiple posts answering specific questions about what is the dog situation in Jack's Beach? Can you bring your pets everywhere? Where to access the beach and where to park when you go there? Safety must-knows, kind of a variety of subtopics related to the same thing. One more suggestion before you finally start writing content is whatever title or topic you've decided to write, you might want to do a search real quick and see what the competition is like. The lower the quality of the other websites, the more likely you can write something that is competitive and can rank high. You'll find that this is going to be easier for a narrower audience and more specific questions versus if I tried to rank for Jacksonville Beach travel, which is a really broad search term with a higher search volume. The top results here are like TripAdvisor with 1,000+ reviews, visit Jacksonville.com, visit Florida.com. All of these are like way more credible places. And honestly, it would be a waste of my time to try to write something that could rank here. But if I try Jacksonville Beach things to do with kids, that has some potential, especially if I further narrow it down. In the writing portion, make sure you're concise and high quality and easily readable. You don't have to artificially load up your content with different variations of the same keyword because Google is smarter than that. Sure, it might be helpful to rephrase something a couple different ways, but only if it makes sense in the context of the writing. And then lastly, before you hit publish on that content piece, make sure you have a good title, something that is clear what to expect, and something that's kind of enticing for the person to click on. You also want to take advantage of the meta tags, which is the little description or blurb that shows up under the title in a search results page. You've probably noticed that this blurb doesn't always show up on the website that you click on, or at least not right away. Think of this blurb as a short preview description to convince the person who sees the search results to actually click on it. If you're building your website on Logify, it's part of the website builder, so there's like a blank that you just fill out for your main page. For all the additional pages, like the blog posts, you would have to go into the HTML, but it's not that hard. You can just Google how to add meta tags. I want to end with 7 more bonus tips about SEO. First one, it goes without saying, but your website needs to load quickly and make sure it is responsive to either a laptop, a tablet, or a phone. That's just kind of a baseline expectation for most people these days. And if your page loads wonky, people will just leave. Logify's default templates are already optimized for all these different devices and it's meant to load quickly. So if you're using that, you should be okay. Number 2, backlinks. I cannot possibly make an SEO video without mentioning backlinks. Backlinks are just links to your website from an external source. When you get traffic from these external backlinks to your website, it increases your authority and ranks you a little higher. A few ways to do this could be either having a guest blog post somewhere else. You are on that website talking about whatever, and you can refer to yourself in your home website at the direct booking site. You can also look into collaborating with a travel blogger, or you can make some sort of infographic, like a checklist, packing list, activity list, whatever else is like very Pinterestable, something that people would save. Those tend to be really clickable from a Google image search. And lastly, if you can think of a way to provide an answer to a really, really specific question that is an obscure data point or something that makes you become the source and everyone who says it will then cite you as the source. Easier in the educational space and a little harder for vacation rental, but hey, if you can think of a way to do it, that is a really powerful tool. Tip number 3 is to take advantage of the AI feature of Google. So Google right now has this AI thing where it generates a summary answer, whatever your search question is. And in this answer with AI, it cites about 3 sources. Answering narrower and more niche questions would be one way to get featured as one of these sources and get some traffic from people clicking on those featured links. Number 4 is to make sure you have a favicon, like the little icon thing that is at the top of the tab. It just looks more professional and people are more likely to click on it. Number 5, for blog posts, Google collects information on when that post was created and or updated. Having a page that's dated really old is certainly not going to help you get clicks. So down the road, plan to routinely kind of go through your pages, make some modifications. I've seen people even add a small tagline that says last updated whatever date. Not a lot changes as far as like what to pack for kids to go to the beach, but updating that date will refresh that timestamp and make the result look more relevant to potentially someone who's searching. Number 6 is a quick tip on social media. I think having an Instagram account is a pretty low-hanging fruit. You already have a bunch of pictures, you could just load them into a square shape. It doesn't have to be your primary source of expanding your reach and finding new customers, although it can, but that's like a different talk for a different day. Just think of it as a virtual business card. Just set it up, post the pictures, have a bio that's reasonable, link it back to your direct booking website, and for having that fun little Instagram icon on your website so that people are like, oh yeah, they have a website and an Instagram account. It's suddenly more legit. The other social media options, YouTube is way too difficult for this purpose. Facebook, only if you're targeting an older crowd. TikTok just doesn't build as much loyalty for that one specific business or one specific person. So I don't recommend it as much as Instagram for this specific reason. Tip number 7, and I think this is a super important perspective, SEO takes time. There's an on-ramp for your page eventually to get indexed by Google. There is a phase of data gathering, of Google showing the search result to people to different keywords and matching up, okay, it does really well for this keyword, but it doesn't do well for this keyword, and kind of getting that into the rankings. Whether you're building directly on something like Logify or if you're using an external provider like Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, you may be choosing those for portability or specific features, but try not to like swap around. Try to have a consistent setup so that your SEO strategy can slowly build up over time. All of my really search-based content, they're not meant to be viral, just excellent answers for someone who is searching for a specific thing. If the content gives a good answer, it will eventually grow. I'll show you the analytics to a few of my videos. The traffic here, it doesn't even come from you guys because you guys are not the target audience. These are completely random topics, and I like to dabble in different topics because it's fun. The traffic is mainly from search and from external backlinks. They all took at least a month or 2 months to eventually like on ramp into a thing and gain traction, and for Google to figure out, okay, this video is fantastic for when people search X, Y, and Z. But once it clicks, you can see it's a straight linear line up and it just keeps going. I hope this was helpful to anyone starting their direct booking website and looking to generate more organic traffic. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Make sure you check out our partner Logify if you're looking for a software that can help streamline your vacation rental business and set up direct bookings. And if you do, don't forget to use the code Lydia10 for a 10% off your subscription. I hope you're having a good day and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!